Hello, good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Lisa Baker. I am here this evening on this National Talk Money Day to talk about money. It's another edition of the Money Talk, and I'm so excited because this evening I get the opportunity to have a conversation with a friend, a fellow coach, and a member of my growth squad, Ms. Marlena Cole. So I am looking forward to her joining us momentarily. This is going to be another great conversation as the previous ones have been. Tonight, we're going to focus in on your money mindset because what you think, what you believe about money truly shapes your behaviors, your actions, and therefore the results that you get from money. And so let me just look out here for Marlena and invite her to join in this conversation with us. This is going to be a good one, y'all. And I know I say that all the time, but that's because it's just true. It is really true. So tell me in the comments if you're here. First of all, check in, say hello. You're out there and where you're joining from. That would be great. And what questions you might have about money as I get Marlena connected in with us. I can see she is trying to get joined in here. We'll see if technology is our friend tonight. I see her getting geared up. I see her little guy, I think, walking there in the background. Welcome, Marlena. Come on in the room, girl.
I'm trying.
Hi, Tangela. Good evening. I'm so glad that you are with us. You are in Florida. How are things in Palm Coast tonight, Tangela? Marlena, I am seeing what I think is the back of your laptop, maybe.
I think so.
Hey, there you are. There's the face we're looking for. You might have to adjust your camera just a little bit more because I'm seeing your beautiful smile, but not your whole face.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Hold up. Let me see.
Together. Oh my goodness. So as I was sharing, Marlena is a member of the Growth Squad. So for those of you who don't know what the Growth Squad is, it is the community of followers, subscribers, and people who are on this journey with us to grow in their lives. So the tagline for my business, which is Ascentum, is Here You Grow. And grow stands for different things depending on what portion of our coaching practice you're taking a part in. But overall, it means to gain insight, realize new possibilities, overcome obstacles, and win at life. And so if you want to grow and you join and connect with us, that makes you a member of the Growth Squad. And then the folks who have gone through Grow Finances are obviously growth squatters because they are making that extra step of getting their money right and really growing financially. Earlier this year, I set the goal to help 100 women in particular to get their money right. And so this has been an interesting and rewarding journey to really see the transformation that's happening with people in just a few short weeks. It really is cool. So thanks everyone who's out there listening. Marlena, I know, will be right back with us here. Let me bring her in. We're going to get this technology working right tonight. It is not going to stop this great conversation. There she is. Welcome, Marlena.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loudly and very clearly.
Okay. Let me turn it down a little bit.
I'm so glad that you agreed to have this conversation. So during the last Money Talk, it was me and my husband. We were talking about marriage and money. And at the end, I told everybody, like, my next guest is going to be Marlena Cole. I hadn't even asked you about it yet. So thank you for allowing yourself to be voluntold, as they say.
Absolutely. Anything for you, Lisa. Anything. And
Oh,
we
thank you so
always have such a good time when we talk anyway. So
We do. Welcome, Letitia. I see you out there, my beautiful sister. I'm so glad that you're with us for this money talk. So, Marlena, let's jump right in. I always like to start with a couple things. One, I just want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and tell the people who are watching who you are, what you do. And I'm going to ask you this, and what's your superpower?
ooh, my superpower. Okay, who I am. So I am Coach Marlena Cole. I am a life certified life coach. I love and enjoy working with all beautiful, bold, brilliant women, helping them to find and really just personally evolve, right? Whether it's, you know, desiring to love themselves more, to accomplish more, whatever it is, that's what most of my clients come to me for. I'm a mother of two. I have a 26-year-old who just was married last year, and I also have a 9-year-old. Don't judge me, guys.
That's yeah, 26 and 9. Okay, there's a story
Yes,
there.
the struggle is real. And so, yeah, that's who I am. My superpower. That is such a good question. I think my superpower is, and I don't know how to describe this, but I am masterful at finding the needle in the haystack when there is like, if, you know, a situation or problem or whatever it is, I can just find that one needle and I don't know how I do it, but it's like, oh yeah, it's this thing right here. And it's like, well, how did you see that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just obvious.
Well, that's the nature of a superpower, right? It's that thing that you do so well and you do it better than probably the majority of people, but it's so natural and just so innate to who you
Yeah.
are that you don't recognize it as that, but other people are like, wow.
Yeah, so such a good question.
Yeah, that is cool. So now you can find that needle in the haystack. You can zero right in on what matters, what's important, and go right to the heart of it. So help us tonight. Just go to the heart of the matter for us on your money beliefs and values. What
Yeah.
did you believe about money, and how
Oh,
did that shape how
yeah.
you handled your life financially, anyway?
Yeah. Oh, you're going straight to it. Okay, Lisa. Okay. No warm-ups, no warm-ups. So it's so funny. I'll start where I am now and how I well, you and I have a relationship, different type of relationship, but you were just and I'm claiming you for life, my personal financial coach, which I've never had before. Never thought about getting it. You know, everybody get a financial, like my husband does. He's a financial, that's a shame. I don't know what he does, but advisor. So he does that type of work for us. But I never thought about getting a personal financial coach. And it came about recently because my family and I just moved to Texas and I'm living where my daughter is and she was wanting to go shopping or something. I was like, I don't know. We'll see. Let me look at my finances. And she was like, Mama, are you kidding me? You have the money. Why aren't you doing anything for yourself? What are you doing with your money? And blah, blah, blah. Why don't you buy yourself more stuff? You're always taking care of other people. So she was just like all on me. And I really took it in. And I was like, you know what? I don't know why I don't want to buy myself anything. And I was like, I don't know if I have a lot of money. I don't know if I do. And in that moment, I picked up the phone. I was like, Lisa, and I told you what I was struggling with. I'm like, I think I make good money. We don't have money problems, but I don't buy myself anything. I don't want to spend money. And that's how I really started digging into my money mindset. And what I've discovered, and it's been with me all of these years. Like my daughter's 26. I got pregnant when I was 19, had her when I was 20. I was a single mom all the way up until 10 years ago when I met my husband. And so my money mindset for all of these years, the last 20 something years, has been that of a single mother
Mm.
wanting to survive, wanting to provide a roof over our head, wanting to make sure we have the basics, right? Food, clothes, right? Shelter, car, job. And so even now that I am a mature woman, I have, and going through your program showed me that I am like in the upper class 30% of most Americans. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what? And that was just my finances, not even including my husband, right? It was just my finances. And it just blew my mind because I'm living and treating myself as if I'm still that single teenage mother, making sure still always good to count your pennies, but I'm scrapping pennies when I don't need to be scrapping.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that is so good, Marlene. There's so much in there, so many threads that we could pull on to talk about. But what I love about what you said is because you were a single mom and the way you had to manage your life and your finances to take care of yourself and to take care of your daughter while you were young and kind of doing things on your own, you developed a set of beliefs and behaviors so that you could survive and even thrive in that environment. But now you're not in that environment anymore. You're not single anymore. You've got another child. Your life looks completely differently than it did then. But your mindset about money and your behaviors did not change when your situation changed.
No, it did not. It took me until you're going through your class to really, honestly, I'm well educated, right? I have a master's degree. I have high-end certifications, change management, black belt, right?
Yeah.
I've worked really hard to in the corporate world to accomplish things and to get to a certain stage, right? Making multiple six figures, right, for a while now. And I don't have bad habits. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't gamble, I don't waste money, right? But I haven't, if I'm honest, it's like, and I'm also not with the income I bring and the lifestyle I live, you would think, oh, she is saving and investing out of her wazoo, which I'm saving, I'm investing, but it's not like you would think,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'm like,
Yeah, because your money in terms of maybe your net worth and the assets you have and all that you're building don't match really what your income truly is and for how long you've had that income. And then
right.
see, that puts you squarely in the what I would describe as the ideal candidate to go through Grow Finances. And there's many people who can benefit from it. In fact, most people. But what I explain is that Grow Finances, and for those who may not have heard me talk about it, Grow in terms of finances stands for get out of debt, retain more of your income, organize and protect your assets, and walk in wealth. That's what it means to grow financially. And I've taken those four letters correspond to the 4 weeks of the class. So week 1 is all about getting out of debt. Week 2 is about keeping more of the money that you're making, because I tell people all the time, it is not how much you make that really matters. What matters more is how much you keep of what you make. And you're keeping it so that you can build assets, grow your money, and that needs to be protected as you start to grow it so that you can keep it into your later years, into retirement, and even beyond your life and leave a legacy. And that really is what it means to walk in wealth. It's living life how you want to now, and then being able to afford to leave the lifestyle for your children, for your grandchildren that you would want them to have. So the reason why Marlena, I said, fits squarely into the target is she is a high performing woman. And you heard she's well educated. She's got the degrees, the certifications, all the things, okay? And she earns good money, y'all. Did you hear those 6 figures and multiple 6 figures? So it's not that she doesn't have money. It's not that she's not earning. She's doing all of that, all the right things. And yet there's this disconnect. There's this gap between what you're earning, your education level, your hustle, right?
Yep,
But
yep.
your bank account, your assets, your net worth does not match this hustle and this money. So what's happening? And usually that's a mindset issue.
You explained that so well, Lisa, and it is absolutely a mindset, right? It's believing it's my self-perception of myself, right? I'm unconsciously spending, for one. So it's like this oxymoron where I am afraid of, and this is going to be funny, and this is not to brag or anything like that, but this is just shows you how your mindset is, right? So my husband and I, we have rental property, and we own a nice chunk of rental property, paid for, nice homes, right? And I still had, up until about 4 years ago, a fear of being homeless. I
Wow.
don't know where this came from. I've never been homeless. I've had a stable home growing up, my daughter and I, but that single mindset, my mind was always on making sure I had a roof over my daughter and I had. And so my husband and I were talking a few years ago about our fears or something. And I was like, I'm afraid of being homeless. And he was like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, well, it's a good thing we own, such and such homes. And I was like, and it was like this aha moment for me, Lisa, that he was like, he thought I was joking.
Yeah. But it's not a joke, right? And
it wasn't
we can laugh at it now because it's like, what, lady? That makes no sense. But that is the nature of a faulty belief system. It doesn't matter what the reality is, because what you tell yourself and what you believe is really true. For those people out there watching who are Christians, they will, know that, this, what you believe, the power of your mind and the power of the words that you speak really drives your life. As a man thinks in his heart, so he is.
Yep.
And so if you think you're broke, if you think that you can't achieve something, if you think you might be homeless, so you start living your life in a certain way, well, then that's your reality.
Yep. And it's kind of like that saying, life is not what is it, like, life is not what it is, it's how you see it. Like, the thing is not, it's how you see it. That has been so my money story. My true reality, we love true and truth.
Yeah.
The truth, capital T, universal truth, is that financially I am doing well, comparatively, and then two, for the life that I desire for myself. But the story I was telling myself is that I didn't have enough. I needed to make more. I needed to hold on to more, right? It's like, I can't have this luxury thing, right? It took my husband almost a year and a half for him to convince me to go get my dream car. And it wasn't because we couldn't afford it. I was just like, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. And so after like a year and a half, he was like, do what you want, but I'm going to go get me a new car. But he wanted me to get a new car before
he did.
When he got a new car. But he waited a year and a half. He's like, I've waited too long. And that was the only thing that made me. And when I tell you that it was nothing, it was like a drop in the bucket when you think of financial. It didn't put us in any bind or anything, but it took me a year and a half just to get my dream. I would have never gotten it if he wouldn't have been like, get it or not, but I'm going to get my car. But I wanted you to get yours first. So life is truly about how you see it, and it's based on your mindset, right? Whether it's money, love, health, self-perception, whether you're winning or losing, whether you're failing or succeeding, it's really your mindset. And let me say this one thing too about your first week of class. And I was joking with Lisa. I said, your little 4-week class didn't change my whole life. Because you would think 4 weeks is not enough time for all the baggage we think we have, right? I got 19 years worth of single mom baggage. But that 1 week, that first week of class, took all of that and put it in the recycle, right? It just renewed me in such a way that I did not expect. And that was just knowing your numbers. That exercise with knowing your numbers changed my whole it brought me into what was really happening, right? It brought me into, I'm in the top 30% of most Americans. I have, I'll just give a general number, right? I have like at the end of the four walls, right? That Lisa calls. Lisa, you can explain that when everything is done, everything is paid. I mean, not even including my husband's salary. I'm talking about just my salary. I'm having like 5 figures left at the end of the month.
Wow.
That is like, where does that happen? And why then am I feeling this anxiousness around money,
Hmm.
especially with the type of lifestyle I live, right? Like,
Because you're really conservative. You're not, a big shopper,
yeah,
spender, any of that. And that is so interesting. Okay, so let me go back and explain these four
yes.
walls that Marlena has mentioned. And it's so key. So the way I explain it is this: there are times for some people when they do not have enough money to cover all of their expenses. And so they have to make some tough decisions about where their money goes when they're trying to plan a budget or something. And so what I say is the first thing is pay yourself. Let's just get that clear. If you're a Christian and you believe in tithing, really what I say is God first. So pay God first, then pay yourself, then focus on your four walls. Those four walls are the things that you're going to prioritize above anything else. So priority number one, God. Priority number two, yourself. Then we get to the four walls. Keep a roof over your head. So if you're renting, pay your rent. If you own a home, make sure your mortgage is paid. The next thing is you want to have utilities on in the house so you can live comfortably. So make sure the utilities are on. You have to eat to live. So make sure you feed yourself. And then this might seem like a weird one, but the fourth one is transportation. And the reason why that's important is because you need the transportation to get to the job so you can make the money to pay God, yourself, and protect your four walls. So that's the hierarchy. Now, for most of us, and the ideal target that I really mostly speak to, they have more than enough to protect those four walls and take care of those things. But they're shifting their mindset, one, to pay themselves first. So many of us pay our creditors, we pay all of our bills, and we don't even think about ourselves. And I don't mean pay yourself in terms of, oh, I work hard, let me go buy this thing that I want. I mean, take some of the income that you worked so hard to earn and set it aside for you in a savings account. So whatever percentage you want that to be, I say do at least 10%. So 10% off the top to cover your ties, if you believe in that. 10%, the next 10% right off the top to go into your savings. Now you got 80% of your income left to protect your four walls, pay any creditors, and have fun and live your life the way you want to. So that's what we mean by the four walls. So what Marlena just shared with y'all, and thank you for being so candid and sharing this information because I think it's helpful. Hey, Lady Todman, I'm so glad you're here. I miss you so much. Hello, Sabrina from with great it says with love and grace. I love her. She helps me with marketing, helps me show up and look good out here on social media, y'all. So if you need help with that, you really should look at Grace. That's GRAYCE.co. Okay, just a little plug there. Let me come back. So the reality is that for most of us, we have more than enough to cover those things. And so it's shifting our mindset and our beliefs. If you wouldn't mind, Marlena, because you had like this aha moment when we were talking about knowing your numbers. And so what that exercise is about is I tell people that there are some key numbers. You've got to know the reality of what you're dealing with, especially for folks who are in sort of financial crisis, like truly struggling with their money. There is this tendency to want to bury your head in the sands, just not even look at it, but you have to look at it because you cannot conquer what you will not confront. So you've got to confront it. So you need to know how much money are you really bringing in? Like, what is your net income? That's a number you must know. You need to know how much disposable income you have. So that means you got to calculate all the things that you owe. You need to know all your creditors, every bill, every debt, everything. You've got to know what that is. Know those numbers. Get to your net worth. Know what you're currently worth, because that tells you it's really a state of your financial well-being. Building assets, growing your net worth is what leads to being rich and then wealthy. So
Yeah.
you got to know that number. Then knowing your credit score and some other things. So we talked about that. And that's one of the exercises. That's a lot of the work in week 1 of the class is foundational, getting all those numbers. The pre-work to the class is working on your mindset.
Yeah.
So when you went through that exercise of knowing your numbers, what stood out for you?
Yeah. So the one thing, I mean, there was a couple things that I've already mentioned, which is how much money I have left after the 4 walls are done. That has no place, right? It's not assigned to anything. It really can truly go anywhere that I want it. And then that my income was in the top 30% of, and
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing, because part of that exercise was in knowing your numbers, Lisa has the greatest tools where we had to take and do all of our debt. And I'm not sure if this is the one because I've had so many ahas that I keep telling you about, but we had to put all of our debt with the interest rate, how much we owed, how much we pay a month, and we put it into this tool. And so I'm putting in my student debt and I'm putting in, and I don't have a lot of debt. It's most of my debt because I'm so conservative is from my coaching business. But I'm putting that in and the interest rate. And it kept failing. It was like, and the message on top was like, you can't continue because what you're paying a month, you'll never be able to pay this off. And I kept trying to do it because I thought it was a mistake. And then I stopped and I really paid attention to the message. And I said, wait a minute. I'm paying, and it was, I don't mind telling the debt was like, it was for my coaching, it was like $10,000 for my coaching certification. And I think it had me paying like $80, $90 a month, which I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, cool. I send them their $90 a month. And when they said that I'll never be able to pay them off if with they paying them $90 a month, which is what they set for me to pay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It would take forever.
Oh my
And,
God.
and forever in this tool means it would take you more than 30 years.
Okay, is that what that means? And what sense does that make? I've had that money 10 times over in my business, but because that payment was so low, the thought was never to add more or to go ahead and pay it off because I'm like, oh, that's fine. Let me keep building my business. I don't mind acquiring debt if it's to me, that's more of an asset, right? Me
Mhm.
going because that
Yes.
created a whole nother income stream for me. However, not knowing that I never knew that. I never knew that the amount they set for you to pay a month didn't necessarily equate to you get to pay this off. And when I told Lisa and she explained it to the class, like, and why would they? Why would they ever set for you to pay this off when they are going to keep making money over money with the interest rate? That was in the first week, you all. So those things on top of that blew my mind. So I'm like, I can absolutely take some of this money at the end of the month that's not assigned to anything that I'm blowing pretty much or giving it away because that's pretty much what I was doing or eating it. I
Mm.
didn't, honestly, I don't know what I was doing with it. I do now, but I don't know where it was going at first. I can do a healthy amount now a month to get rid of that, right? Because I'm like, I don't need to keep carrying that. I just paid what they told me to pay a month. And that was huge for me. And so I'll say this when Lisa and my mindset. So let's go back to what my mindset is. My mindset was this single mother, want to make it bare minimum, trying to scrape, right? Trying to get through school, trying to keep a roof over our head, right? That was my mindset. Even as a grown adult woman making 6+ figures with her own business, a husband, and another baby, right? That was still my mindset. And that was my mindset because I don't look at my finances. I don't sit and do a budget because I'm like, I don't have enough. Right? It's like that's my mind telling me. So you think, well, how are things ran in your house, Marlena? Once I got married, I was like, here, honey, you take care of the finances. I don't know what's happening. I don't care. I don't want to know. So I have been, even in my marriage for 10 years like this, not wanting to know about our finances. And that is just has become for the woman I am and the woman I'm becoming and for what I want, I'm like, I need to get involved with our finances. But my husband, of course, he's a financial person. He understands money. He does our investing. So you feel comfortable. I felt confident. I trust my husband completely that he has, and he does. But I still have my own personal
Yeah.
money, right? I still have my business money. I still have this other money that's left over that's like, well, this is yours, right? This is, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I wasn't even managing that because I was,
Yeah.
with
Had
this
the
whole, I don't
blinders
want to look at it. I don't
on.
want to look at it.
Just let him handle it because
Yeah,
he's good at that. And
yeah,
yeah, and so you had that aha. You discovered, first of all, I should have more money than
yeah.
I do, and you didn't know where it was going.
Nope.
You had the
I have a
aha that
feeling, but
the minimum payment, which was required of you, so you're not late, not doing anything wrong, but it wasn't serving you well. It was only serving the creditors because you would have been paying on that for more than 30 years in order to pay back that $10,000 loan for your business.
that's crazy.
So that's crazy. I think I remember you had another just sort of aha, because when we got into the second week and we were talking about ways to save and keep more of the money that you make in the first place, and we
Mhm.
went through like maybe 10 to 15 different ways that you can save. And you looked at your subscriptions because that was one of the things I talked about. So many of us have things that are just on autopilot that we just pay. And that's why people love subscription programs, by the way, because people will set it to automatically pay, then they forget. So you discovered that you had a lot of that too, right?
Oh my God. Yes. I think, was it almost like 400 some dollars? I think it was something crazy. And again, a lot of it had to do with my business. However, it's like, so when you're in, and I don't know how many of you guys are business owners, but like I know with Love and Grace is, right? So with your business, you need, all these tools. You need a CR system. You need this system. You need that system. You need Zoom. You need a calendar. You need all these subscriptions and softwares to run your business. But for me, anyway, for the stage I am in my business, there's highs and lows, right? Sometimes I have 10 clients, sometimes I have two, sometimes I have none, right? And so it's not, for me, I haven't got to a place where it's always consistent and that I always need to use these tools,
Mhm.
right? But I never canceled the subscription or downgraded it to because I'm not using it as frequently, like Calendly. The way I'm transitioning my business, you can't really just get on my calendar, right? I have to send you the link. So there's no need for me to pay for the upgrade,
Right.
right? Zoom, there was no need for me to continue paying. My group calls had just stopped. My group coaching had stopped, but I was still paying that subscription. Why? I'm not even doing any Zoom calls, right? And so those Zoom calls, those little things added up.
Mhm.
There was one like I use Kajabi, but I'm not sending any emails right now because I'm in the process of restructuring. That's almost $200 some a month. Why am I still paying that? And I'm not using it
Yeah.
right now. And so and part of that too, I pay, sometimes I have to pay out of my own pocket for my business because like I said, some months there's no income, some months there is, but why am I paying for softwares and tools that I can either park, go month to month, take it off when I'm not using it, or get rid of it altogether?
Yeah.
And so,
That's
yeah,
good.
that was huge for me.
That's good stuff because it happens to so many of us. And I shared a personal example in the class of just how I went through the same exercise for myself. And I coach people around money and these things. And even I still have to go back and look at things. And it's almost unfortunate in a way that when you have more than enough, it allows you to not be as focused because you're not so tight on your budget that you need to watch it as closely. But it's equally important because you still want to take that money and direct it where you want it to go. So I say it this way: tell your money where to go so you don't have to wonder where it went. And it's all about having a plan and setting a budget. And so now that you're doing that, you have a budget, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I not only have a budget, I look at it literally every day. I'm looking at my accounts every day. I'm going through my Ever Dollar every day. My husband, when he goes to the store, I'm like, "Where's your receipts?" I have my little Dave Ramsey envelope book. I'm like, and and I'm consistent with it. I have never done that before.
Yeah.
Literally, I've taken it from my husband. I'm like, I got this now.
That is awesome. So do you have a sense now of how much money you found, so to speak,
I
back in the
mhm.
process?
Yes, I have found. Now, I want to be as accurate as possible, but I've found about 5 grand
Wow.
a month, Lisa.
You found that much. That means that's money. I call it leaking money. You don't realize it, but you're
Yep.
leaking money someplace. And that's why I tell people, and I get that it sounds self-serving, but it truly isn't, because what I say to people is you should be able to find the money to pay for the course by going through the course.
That's right.
Right? You're going to get more than that back 10 times, 100 times over. I promise you, you will. And people in it, and I know it sounds self-serving,
Mhm.
but you are living proof that it is absolutely the truth. So the course, I think we're offering the course at $595. So you pay $595 to take the course and you found $5,000. So
Fi- Not
where do you
only
get that kind of return? In 4 weeks, you spent 500 and
that's
found
one week. Let's be
5,000.
clear. That's one first week. That wasn't so by week 4, we're on to estate planning. I'm sorry. This is I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lisa,
No,
but
you're
this is a
good.
fast-paced master course on personal finance. And I'm not just blowing Lisa up, right? This I'm talking about my experience. I'm not even talking about Lisa. I'm talking about my experience, because you can get in this course and not do the work, because Lisa's not going to hold your hand like that. She's going to give you everything you need, more than what you need. I was like, Lisa, this is on point. And you have to do the work, right? You have to have the courage to do it. But that was week 1, Lisa. By week 4, my husband and I are looking for an attorney for our estate planning. I've created a will, wrote out letters to everybody that I can think of, right? That's taken me from kindergarten to a master's degree in my mind, right? In 4 weeks. 4 weeks, because I did the work every week, right? And I'm still doing the work, but I did it as it came. I didn't wait. I did it then because I wanted to be in class to ask questions, right? I wanted to show up for myself. And so it truly, and let me tell this too, Lisa, I wasn't going to pay for the class. Like you remember, I don't know if I told you, because you sent me the link and it took me like 2.5 weeks to pay for the class. I was literally in my head telling myself I could not afford the 500 some dollars.
Wow. And here you have clearly had more than enough. For you could have paid for 10 people to come to the class with the money that you were just letting walk out the door.
But not only that, Lisa, I would have took and paid for 10 people, because that's my thing, right? I give, I share. So I would have paid for 10 people to go and not myself, which is half the problem, right?
That's a
Hey,
whole other
myself
mindset.
first.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. And I think we're talking about it in the context of finances, but the reality is this is true in life. And you and I both know this as coaches and helping people around these areas. We truly do have to examine everything that we believe and what we're telling ourselves as a result of those beliefs. I've been listening to a book on Audible, and it's called The Power of Story. And
Mm.
one line at the beginning of the book that just stuck with me, and he said, he's talking about the power of our stories and that, but he said the most important story is the story that you tell yourself about yourself.
Mm.
That hit me because it's so true. If I'm what am I telling myself about myself?
Yeah.
If you're thinking of yourself as a single mom, if you're thinking there's a risk that you might be homeless, even though you own 4 properties that are paid in full.
Well, and honestly, we own 13 homes that are
Stop, I
all.
say. And yet you were telling yourself that there's a risk that you might be
I
homeless.
might be homeless. And of course, and my husband's like, something super catastrophic would have to happen that's impacting the whole world
Right.
for us to be homeless. Right? I'm like,
You can sleep in a different home each night for 2 weeks,
each,
ma'am.
I mean, is, I mean, the stories we tell ourselves are ridiculous. And really thinking about Lisa Course, I would have never uncovered those stories. I don't think I would have. I would have never uncovered those stories and took action, right? I would have, and now I feel different. I am different. I am now the 46-year-old, right? I see myself different. I'm like, I'm a badass. I make great money. I'm building wealth, right? I'm like, it even changed the way I'm seeing my business, right? I'm like, there's no need for me to have up and down months. My up and down months in my business was because of my money mindset, right? Not having enough, not knowing enough. It plays out in every area, right? Especially we're talking about finances, right? I do contracting work. I just had this conversation. I'm like, I think my value was much more than what I'm asking for. At least it was like, more than likely, you're right, more, right? I got all this rich experiences. So it's like, where else are you selling yourself short? Right? Is it in your income? Is it in your salary? Is it you not starting that side business? Do you have a business and it's up and down? All of that is going to lead back to your money mindset. And all of these things were uncovered for me, from my personal finances to my business finances, because of Lisa's course and the exercises that she take you through, the tools that she gives you. I mean, I now have a living will. And I should have a living will. We won't get into this story, but I should have already had a living will, right? And now I have that. We're now getting things in order for all of our things we have. So we can, if something happened, we can easily transition that over to our children, right? I mean, it is, if I don't know who's on here listening or struggling with their finances, or not even struggling with your finances. I wasn't really struggling with my finances. I was just clearly spending willy-nilly. But it's really mastering yourself in that next level of your life. And we need resources. And I'm sorry, we are our resource, right? We are our resource. And part of that is generating and creating wealth and creating money. And so we can live the life we want. And it starts, for me, honestly, I'm really now enjoying all the things that my husband and I have built and that I have. And that's because of your coaching, your course, the tools. I can now enjoy and feel like I not only have enough, I have more than enough. And I didn't feel that 6 weeks ago. I didn't. I still felt in the inside.
Yeah.
Right. I still felt that for no reason. I shouldn't have.
You sort of alluded to this, that, you called up one day, I think, because you were thinking about whether or not you would take the course or should you take the course. And you said, well, I'm just going to ask you this question about, savings, like how much money should I have saved? Like, I don't know what's a good number even. And so you'd ask that question and, relative to how much you earn or relative to where you are in this season in life. And you said, I just feel like I don't have enough. And you also shared that, because we talked about relationships and money too. And you shared that your husband was really good at money and was further along because he's a little bit older than you are. So he had more time to kind of work on his finances, but that you didn't want to be a drain on the relationship.
Oh, I sure did. Yes.
We're just putting it all out there, but that's what we do.
Might as well.
But because it's so real, and so many other people have similar feelings and thoughts, and each relationship and how they handle money is different. But and there's what's right or wrong is what's right for you. That's what's right. So there's no one way to do it. But I thought that was so interesting that you said that, and that you had this desire that you wanted to elevate yourself, your knowledge, and the way you were handling money, so that you could be a better partner in this area for your husband.
Oh my God, yes. And that again is the mindset, right? And that's true. My husband's older than me. He started at 20, right? So he's done it the way that it's supposed to be done. So financially, yeah, we're not necessarily equally yoked. And it's not a thing for us. Like money's not a thing. So we don't argue about money. We don't fight about money. It's not like this mine, this yours. Well, a little bit. I'm like this mine and yours mine, but at least for helping me with that too. But it was but in the reality of it, right? My husband came into the marriage, right, with a certain amount of wealth, right? And he's continuing to grow that. And he's starting at 20, I'm starting at 0. And I don't want to hold him back, right? So it's like we want this new home, this vision home. And I'm like, again, my mindset, I'm like, oh my God, can we really, right? We've been living pretty much rent free for 10 years. We paid cash for our home. And I'm like, oh my God, and I'm feeling, and my husband's like, I'm ready to go. We're looking at this $1 million home, this, that, and the other. And I'm feeling, but I
Yeah.
want to be a good partner. I don't want to hold him back. I don't want to keep him from having, he's worked hard for these things, right? And so that really helped me make the decision to take the $600 class. Oh my God, I feel stupid saying that now. No judgment, but I do.
No,
Right. And so,
because but something happened that you overcame,
yeah,
that what your mind was telling you, I can't afford it. I don't think I should do it. Was there some, you had to work through some emotion around that, I
I did.
imagine.
Yeah, I did. I honestly, I wrestled with it. And I'll be honest, we know each other, right? We're friends, and I wanted to support you. I trust you. I know your story, right? I know you and I have a similar story. Single, you were divorced, but still became a single mom, went through that. And so I trusted you. I wanted to support you. And yet that still wasn't enough for me to spend the money. And I'm like, and I was like, what? I asked myself, well, what are you concerned? What is the concern, right? So I had to coach myself. And the concern was, what if I go through this and I'm still not enough? Something's like really wrong. That was my answer. It's like, what if I go through this class and I find out that something, like I'm really screwed. Like my finance, like we'll never be able to get this $1 million home my husband wants. I'll never be able to catch up with him. I am in the biggest hole that I feel that I'm in. And it was like, what if this is real? Because it wasn't real because I wasn't looking at it. I wasn't tracking it. I'm just, the
Telling
four
you.
walls are covered. So I didn't know what the truth was. So I think, what if it was back to the mindset of, what if I really don't have enough? But I was like, well, then is that how you want to live your life? I was like, I don't. I don't. I want to show up for me. I want to show up for my husband. I want to show up for my son already. Like, we get in a pool, we get in a sauna, we want, right? and I and that's kind of like the competitive in me. I'm like, I am not going to be the weakest link. Right. That was kind of like the conversation I had myself. Like, I am not going to be the weakest link between me, my husband, and my son. And that was like, I trust Lisa, and that added, right? I trust Lisa. I know she know what she's doing. And I did. I felt stupid that I felt a little even embarrassed that I hadn't already paid for the class. Right. I did. When I went to actually pay for it, I felt a little bit of embarrassment that I hadn't already paid for it.
Oh, wow. Well, this is a judgment-free zone, and whether you had joined the course or not, you would have still been my friend and my
Yeah.
coach. And so this is the other thing that I really want to share, because I think it's really important. You can be strong in one area or multiple areas of your life and be weak in others, and that doesn't make you any less perfect, wonderfully,
That's so
fearfully
true.
made person. Where you can't be equally great at everything at the same time. So you grow in one area, that one gets stronger, then you can work on something else. So what's I think so important here is that, Marlena, you are a coach. You
Yeah.
coach people often around their mindset, their beliefs,
Yeah.
their values. You've coached me
Yeah.
and helped me in a time where I was struggling and going through a very difficult season in my life. And you coached me through that and helped me to get better.
Yeah.
So you are a coach, and yet even a coach can struggle with her
Yeah.
mindset in a different area, not in the
Yeah.
area that you coach. You're struggling
Mhm.
in a different area.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
the
and that's so
beauty of
true.
It's you
Well,
have each other. You have people that can
that's
be
right.
part of your team to help support you and prop you up in those
Yep.
areas where you're not as strong until you grow and become better in that space.
I'm so glad you said that, Lisa, because as Black women, and a lot of the women I coach are just like you, right? They are ambitious, they are successful, they are pretty much rich, right? I mean, I coach women who are exhibit Black excellence. I do. All of my 99% of my clients doing super well, and I coach them into greatness. I do. And I always tell them, don't ever get a coach who don't have a coach, and don't ever get a therapist who don't have a therapist. I'm always a teacher and a student. And so if any time that we are a lot of time as Black women, the heroes, the sheroes for everybody. But if we ever get to a point where our egos won't allow us to get the help we need, to get the support we need, to get a board of directors we need, to have a circle and a network that can support me, then that is ego and you are doomed to fail. And that's what I see a lot of my clients. They are the shero. They are the one that everybody comes to, but they don't have anybody to go to, to help get them out of where they're struggling. And then sometimes their ego won't allow them to ask for help. I'm blessed that Lisa's on my board of directors, right? And I trust her, and I know she's not going to judge me, but she's going to kick my butt and make sure I'm doing the right thing. And we all need that. And I'm that for her, right? I'm Lisa's coach, and Lisa's my coach, and we love each other and we coach each other hard. We don't play with each other. And for me, she was like that, not just with me, because we became friends because I was coaching you, right? This is
Right.
a blossom. This is a new relationship. But she was like that with everybody on the call. No judgment, only love, great advice, making us, not giving us the answers, but asking us empowering questions because she knew the answer was within us, right? And she showed up like that for everybody on the call. She showed up after the call like, hey, I still got an extra 10, 15 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? People were in the Facebook groups asking questions. Lisa's right there answering, cheering us on. And so the fact that for me, and this is for all of us, especially as Black women, we need a coach in our lives. Coaching is new for us, right? A lot of us, right? We've seen the executive coaches, usually which are white men getting coached or white women, but we need our own personal coaches in the areas of our lives that we are struggling the most or that we want to excel the most, right? You don't always have to be struggling to get a coach, right? You can be doing well and the coach helps you exceed to that next level. So yes, having a personal, for me, Lisa's my personal financial coach, and she's on my executive board to keep me in line. But we all need that. And so your friend group, your family group may not be able to give that to you. And that's when we have to love ourselves enough. And that to me is what me paying for this class was, loving myself enough to get the help that I needed from a trusted resource, right? And so we have to love ourselves enough to make the sacrifice, right? If it is a sacrifice, to make the sacrifice to get the help we need. And I highly recommend Lisa. For one, I love her, I trust her, and I am a living proof of what 4 weeks and and it wasn't even hard. It was fun. I was up to I was late for a class. Remember, I was late for the one class because I was working on my budget. I got so into it that I didn't want to stop. Now I find myself up at 12 o'clock. I was trying to find 50 cents in my budget last night. I was like, are we about to, we are not about to look for this 50 cent another time. But it's fun. It's fun. It's liberating. And literally, Lisa, I owe so much to you because of you, because of the grow, because you are just excellent in what you deliver. I literally am a new person, and I don't even feel like I'm inferior, like I got to catch up with my husband. I literally feel like I'm there and I'm contributing to my family, which is the truth.
Yeah,
It is the
is
truth
the truth in more ways than just financially,
in
but you're
in more
also
ways.
financially. That is so good. That's so good. So for folks that are out there listening, first of all, thank you for being with us. If you have any questions, Let us know. Tell us what you think. Share your thoughts. We'll be on for just a couple more minutes. I want to be respectful of Coach Marlena's time. I'm just so glad that you joined. I hope that folks who are listening are getting something, because I'm getting something out of it even as we talk, and I know parts of the story. And what you said is so true, that it doesn't have to take a long time to transform your life, to transform your money, to transform your relationships, transform your career. You can absolutely, with focused effort. What you shared and the course is living proof of what you can do in 4 short weeks of just focused effort on something. And a lot of it is just knowing the numbers, knowing where you are, getting the truth about whatever your situation that is, whether that's getting the truth about where you are in your relationships, the truth about where you are with your money, what is really the truth about your career. You think you want to go to that next level in your career, but you're not getting promoted, and you feel like there are people or things blocking you. Is that really the truth? Or is it something that you're telling yourself about yourself that's what's really holding you back?
And it's usually the latter. I've been coaching now for 5 years, and it's always the latter. It's the story, it's our past, right? And we're a lot of times more committed to our past than we are our future. And then we keep reliving the past, and blaming other people.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh, you are so welcome. Tangela said thank you for this discussion. Tangela is also a member and graduate of the course. She is another one who has just done awesome things. If you follow me on social, you've probably seen the testimonial that she shared, where she is now debt free.
Wow.
I'm just so excited for her. It's just amazing what you can do if you really put your mind to it. So Marlena, as we close our time out, if you had to, and you've already given so much, by the way,
I hope it
but
makes sense.
but if you had to say something to someone else out there who may be kind of where you were with their mindset or whatever, what advice or tips would you give them if they want to have the kind of transformation that you have experienced and are continuing to experience?
Yeah, no. Before I get into that, thank you for having me, Lisa. Thank you for being Lisa, being yourself, for stepping out and stepping into your true calling, because I've shared this with you before, but what you're doing is life changing. And I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. This is what you're doing. I'm so happy because you're so good at it. You're so good at it. And so I'm just grateful that I get a front seat to see your transformation and how many lives you're going to be changing. I'm going to quote my favorite coach, and let's see if she knows this. My final thing will be, and I get this from Lisa, if y'all haven't caught that, is that if you can't afford, or not even afford, if you can't pay for this class and you're struggling in your finances, or you want to see how you can take your finances to the next level, then you are a slave. A slave works for free. And so if you can't do anything for yourself, then you are a slave. And Lisa, you said it much better than that when you told us that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And it sounds very shocking, right, to say those words, but it in fact is true. And what I said is, because people will say this, I hear this all the time as a coach, and especially as a money coach, but I hear all the time, oh, I can't afford to pay my tithes, or I can't afford to save. I don't have enough money to save. If you make money, if you earn any amount of money, you absolutely can't afford to save, because you just take the money off the top. It's automatic. You pay yourself first. So, and what I said is, if you work and you expend your effort, and all of the results, all of the financial results of your labor goes to better someone else, that makes you a slave.
Yep. So you said it better than me, but yes.
That makes you a slave. So do you want to be financially bound, Or do you want to be financially free? That's the question. And if you want to be financially free, and in fact, if you want to be free in any area of your life, in your love relationships, in
Yep.
your career, wherever, you're going to have to take some action to change your mindset. First of all, to understand what you're believing that's holding you back, and then make the shift in that area so that you can be free. And that means investing in yourself. Now, again, to be clear, we are not talking about people who are living below the poverty level, who truly don't earn enough to take care of their basic needs. But even they can put some money aside for themselves
Okay. Yes, you can.
because they're making some money. But that's not the group we're talking about. We're talking about people who are working every day, working a full-time job, owning a business, that are earning income in some way, but their investments, their bank account does not match the level of income that they're earning. They're living paycheck to paycheck, even though they're making six figures or multiple six figures, but still struggling and broke, don't have any money saved. If everything that you have really belongs to somebody else, like you're driving a car, but it really belongs to the bank. You're living in a house that belongs to the mortgage company. The furniture that you're sitting on in your house belongs to the rental company. You don't own anything. You're a slave.
Yeah. And you could be a slave, because when you think of it, I know that's shocking, but that helped me realize, like, oh my God, what I pay me now in two ways: my SHE account and my retirement account. Right. And that's not even including my savings account. So I'm paying
Yeah.
myself now in three ways. Right. Because guess what? If I can go and pay Outback, if I can go and pay Steak and Shake or whatever I'm eating, if I can pay them, if I can go in whatever shirt or whoever the design, if I can pay them and I'm working every day, I'm expending my energy, I can absolutely pay me,
Mhm.
right? By taking this course, right? By saving. And if I can't, then I have no power, which then that makes me a slave. Right.
Yeah.
So then I was a slave to my own thoughts. I was a slave to my own fears. I was a slave to my past. Right. And so now I am free. I am financially free. Right. Because now I have the skills, I have the resources, and I don't have my own mind holding me back. Right.
Yeah.
So even for those who I was a teenage mom, right? So no, my finances haven't always been here, right? I've filed bankruptcy. I've, lost everything before when I was younger, right? And so I know what it is to truly not have enough. And even in that, it wasn't that I didn't have enough. I didn't have the skills and the tools to know how to manage it,
Yeah.
right? And that is what you're giving us, even at this level, because we haven't, I know I didn't learn it. I didn't learn it. So I'm making six figures plus, and I still had not learned how to manage my money. I had learned better how to keep the four walls going and not worry about my lights going out. But I hadn't truly learned how to start building wealth and enjoying the fruits of my labor. And that made me a slave. And when Lisa said that, it was shocking, because some people was like, I can't afford to pay myself. I can't. And Lisa's like, okay, but here's what it is. Here's the truth of it. Right. And so we have to be honest with ourselves. And I'll say this last thing too, is that I am a coach, and I'm a damn good coach, but I can only take myself so far. Lisa is an amazing coach, but in certain areas of her life, she can only take herself so far. Even in her expertise, she can only take herself so far. I know Lisa has a financial advisor, probably a CPA, a tax person, and everybody else lined on her
You
team.
need a team. You need a team of
You
people. I have
need a
several
team.
coaches. I have you, and you coach me, in many as a kind of a general life coach.
Yeah,
I have a business coach that helps me with tips around growing my business. I'm trying to shift and do more speaking. So I have a speaking coach that's helped me in
yep,
that area. And so I say it this way, and you mentioned it, and it's so true that we need a coach. And you don't get a coach because you don't have to be struggling to need a coach. Anyone who is great at anything has a coach, and usually multiple coaches. And they didn't wait to become great and then get a coach. They were coached all along the way, and at different levels, they get better and better. And you may have to change coaches somewhere along the way,
yep,
because you may grow past your coach, and then
yep.
you need another coach, a different coach. And so for me and you as well, I know you're continuously learning. So am I. I have to expose myself to new things, read, get new information, put people in my circle who are doing better than I am, who know more than I do in multiple areas, so that I can continue to grow, so that I can continue to serve my clients well, because that truly is my heart's desire. This is a business for me. And so sure, I want to make money at it, but ultimately it's also ministry. It's my way of giving back and serving, because God has been so good to me. I have truly been abundantly blessed, and I am here not because I'm super special. I'm not the smartest person in the room, but God has given me some unique gifts and talents, and he has given me a heart to give, to share. And so I am working and earning to get to the place where I can give away 80% of what I make. That's my personal desire.
I love
I'm
that.
working at 20%. My goal is to work to 80% will go to bless other people's lives. That's just how God has wired me. But on this journey, on this journey, I still have to keep learning and growing and bettering myself so that I can give.
Yeah, I echo that. And that's for everyone on this call. And starting with your finances and having that foundation in place is is the way to go, right? Even if you're doing well, I still say take this class, because there's going to be things that you just hadn't thought about. And that Lisa is more than likely in this 4 weeks. It's more likely in this 4 weeks.
I appreciate everything that you've shared.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of the compliments and the acknowledgement. I truly appreciate it, and it means so much coming from you, because you have been on the journey for a while with me, and it means so much. So thank you for that. That what I did not expect that the conversation would go this way, but that is the beauty of a journey that's unscripted. We didn't have a plan other than to just share and let people know about you. So I'm going to, again, give you an opportunity to close, but this time completely different. Who are you looking for your clients? Because they might be on the call or listening, that they may watch the replay. So who
Look,
are you
you put
trying
me on
to
the spot. Put me on the spot. Honestly, Lisa, so previously I've been working mostly within the relationship area, right? So my women come to me 40 and up, really struggling in personal relationship, romantic relationships. I've helped several of my women get married, find healthier ways to date, interact, all of that. But what I notice and what I'm most proud of for and where my business is headed is the personal evolution that my women have come into, that personal transformation, because we're not taught how to keep evolving outside of college, climbing the ladder, buying a house, taking trips, right, getting married, having babies. And what I find now is that a lot of women in their mid ages, 40 and up, are finding that they're missing something out of life, and they're not really sure what it is, but they're happy, but not happy, right? They're not fulfilled, and they have all the accolades, they have all the things they've accomplished, right? But they don't know what's missing. And so that's what I love doing, helping my women find that missing piece, which is really helping them to have their own personal evolution of who they are or who they think they are, and really help them to become the person that God has created them to be. So.
Ooh, that's so good. That is so good. So you heard that, folks. If you need to make that evolution, that transition into becoming who you are truly meant to be and growing and evolving in this season in your life, Coach Marlena, it would be awesome. I'm a living witness that she is, as she said, a damn good coach. She really is. And if you
But
need
I'm to my own horn.
no, it's true. When it's true, it's not bragging. You're just stating the facts.
Part of my superpower.
That is a fact. And if you need help with your finances, truly reach out to me. You can connect with me here on social. You can send me a direct message. You can go to my website, ascentum.com, and go to the contact page and put time on my calendar. I would love to talk with you if you need help with your finances. And one of the things that makes me unique too as a coach, and particularly in this area of coaching money, is that I'm not just a financial coach. I am also a career coach, because here's the reality. You're only going to be able to restrict your spending and manage your budget, but to a point. At some point, if you really have big, bold financial goals and dreams that you want to achieve, we're going to have to talk about how you make more money in the first place. And that is everything to do with your career or your business. So between Coach Marlena and myself, we can help you get your whole life right so that you can love this abundant life that you have been blessed to live. That is it, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying on past the time and just being part of this good conversation. Coach Marlena, I love you. Keep on shining and doing the great things that you're doing.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.